Let's have a word about Manchester United then. Tim Sherwood watched their 1-1 draw at Old Trafford against Burnley, who equalised with that Amdouni penalty. We'll talk about the Onana incident from the penalty in a moment, but overall, Tim, another bad result. What about United's performance?
Yeah, another bad performance. Another performance without any style, any playing identity, no DNA, which Dan Ashworth, who will come in, will be looking for. Jason Wilcox alongside him. They've got their work cut out there, that's for sure. They need to see a playing identity. The man's not just come into the job. He's been there long enough now. He's had his own players. And I can't see what they do. In possession, they're just about moments. Out of possession, they're a shambles. They really are a shambles. And worrying thing is the midfield does not run. They're all right chasing when the ball's in front of them and going to put the press on. When the ball gets played behind them and someone beats the press, all of a sudden their heads start wobbling. They think they can't run as quick towards the opposition goal or their own goal as when they do when they break with it. Now, that's down to the manager. That's down to the manager telling them, identifying it. I like Kobe Mainoo. I really like him. I see him. He's caught the Casemiro bug, where you're jogging around the pitch and you can't just play when you get possession of the ball. Christian Eriksen, exactly the same. Now, he's one of the most honest players you're ever going to find. I think it's a culture there, not willing to run. They're not running enough. We know Bruno doesn't want to do that, but Bruno is an exceptional player as a 10. I think they need to keep that man, but they need to use him up there and conserve his energy because he can open people up, but they need to be able to run. If I was Kobe's agent or youth team coach, I would say to him, listen, when you first went into the team, you run around with an identity and determination and desire. You're not doing that at the moment. Don't fall into the trap of what they're doing. You haven't got good examples there at the moment. Something needs to change there at Old Trafford. It wasn't good enough.
But you're putting that on the manager. But when you were a player, did you have to be told to run by your manager? Surely that was within you.
I'd be scared. I'd be scared not to, depending on what manager it was. That's the point I'm making. If it was Pep Guardiola or it was Arteta, let's look at their midfield. Let's look at those two players. Let's look at Rodri and De Bruyne. You have to tell them to run and run back towards their own ball and get the ball back. Declan Rice and Odegaard, you don't need to tell them. We're talking about world-class players. Man United want to be like Man City and they want to be like Arsenal. They're miles away from being that. But they need to run. They need to protect their defenders. At the moment, they've got a stand-in Casemiro alongside Harry Maguire. They can't go up the field because there's no pressure on the ball. So they're just rolling balls in behind them. They caused them problems all day long. They started the game OK. They never scored the goal. Then they started getting edgy. And the better team were Burnley, without doubt. Onana was the man of the match alongside Garnacho, who was good in fits and starts.
Onana was man of the match, but it was his error that conceded the penalty. For anyone who wasn't with us, just explain what happened, because we've seen this before early in the season. Yeah,
well, it's really interesting. When as a goalkeeper, you don't get judged on the good saves you make. You get judged on your mistakes you make. And unfortunately, he's going to get judged with that mistake. It was Casemiro at first. The ball come over it, bobbled in the air. It was in the penalty area, and he tries to head it back to him. Now, Wan-Bissaka jumps, leaps above everyone, above Amdouni, who was there, Amdouni. And as he's headed the ball, he's just come over everyone and he's smashed him in the face. Onana. It was a rash decision to make. Exactly the same as what happened against Wolves early in the season. John Brooks, the referee, goes over, checks it. It can only be one outcome, and it's a penalty. Amdouni steps up, Cooley sends him the wrong way, and it was a deserved draw, in my opinion.